Imagine this. You're sitting in the passenger seat of your own life, watching someone else steer, someone who's supposed to be your senior, your mentor, but instead treats you like free Uber with extra steps. For weeks, he dropped hints thicker than concrete. I really don't feel like driving an hour each way. And every time, my stomach twisted a little tighter. But one morning I woke up, looked at my car keys, smiled, and left them on the hook. 3 days later, he was screaming at the steering wheel. My boss was tearing him apart in the group chat. And I was sipping coffee in the back seat, living my best petty life. Music sting. If you ever had a coworker who thought they could walk all over you just because they've been there longer, this story is going to feel like sweet, ice-cold revenge straight to the veins. Smash that like button right now, subscribe, and turn on notifications because you do not want to miss what happens next. Let's dive in. I need you to picture the office first. Gray carpet that smells like old coffee, fluorescent lights that make everyone look half dead, and a giant whiteboard covering my handwriting. Because guess who always ends up doing the planning? Me. I'm the only woman on the technical team. I'm also the only one with a different degree, in a country where that already puts a target on my back. Speak up too much, and suddenly you're difficult. Stay quiet, and you're not a team player. There is no winning, only surviving. Enter senior coworker. Let's call him Mark. Mark is a guy who shows up at 8:05 every morning, parks in the closest spot, and spends the first 20 minutes complaining about traffic he created by leaving late. He's been with the company 8 years, which apparently grants him the divine right to delegate everything that requires actual effort. We had a huge supplier visit coming up. Their factory is an hour past the office. Basically a 2-hour round trip on top of our normal commute. The entire visit was Mark's responsibility. Emails? Mark. Agenda? Mark. Factory tour schedule? Somehow all dumped on me 2 weeks before the date. But the cherry on top? The drive. Every single day for a month, he found new ways to say the same thing without saying it. Hey, you've been up that highway before, right? Man, my back has been killing me. Long drives are the worst. I'm just so busy, you know? Each comment landed like a jab. My jaw started clenching so hard I tasted metal. I'd lie awake at night, rehearsing calm, professional ways to tell him no. Because being direct in this environment can cost you references, promotions, everything. So I deflected with jokes, changed the subject, prayed he'd just man up and drive his own lazy butt. Then one afternoon I walked past the manager's office and heard Mark's voice, all fake concern. Yeah, we still haven't figured out transport, but don't worry, I'll sort something out. Sort something out. Translation. He was going to wait until the last second and guilt me into driving. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet, cold click. I smiled all the way back to my desk. The next morning, I left my car at home. Alarm at 5:15 a.m. for a midnight shift finish. 1 hour and 3 transfers on public transport that smelled like wet seats and desperation. My feet ached, my eyes burned, but every jolt of the train felt like fuel. Spite is an incredible pre-workout. Day 1, Mark didn't notice. Day 2, he frowned when he saw me walking with my transit card. Day 3, he finally asked, "Where's your car?" I gave him performance of my life. Wide eyes, small apologetic smile. Oh! My brother flew in unexpectedly, and I lent him my car, so he could tour the city with his girlfriend. Total surprise visit. Mark's face did this little twitch, like he smelled something bad but couldn't prove it. That same afternoon, I sent the most innocent email known to man. CC'd Mark, our manager and the supplier. Subject: transport options for the upcoming visit. Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, our original transport plan fell through last minute. Could you kindly recommend the best public transport route or nearby hotels in case we need to stay overnight? Thanks so much. I hit send and felt my pulse in my fingertips. 10 minutes later, the manager stormed out his office, red-faced, veins popping. Mark, meeting room, now. I pretended to be very focused on my spreadsheet while listening to every word through the glass wall. Is this your idea of figuring transportee out? Leaving it until the week before and hoping your junior sorts it for you? She's been handling your supplier visit from day 1. And now we look like amateurs in front of a client that brings us 20% of our revenue. This is shameful, absolutely shameful. Mark tried mumbling excuses. They died in his throat. The day of the visit arrived. My fictional brother had conveniently flown home, so I rolled into the parking lot of my own car, windows down, music loud enough for the whole row to hear. Mark was already waiting by his car, keys clenched so tight his knuckles were white. The drive, there was 2 hours of glorious silence broken only by his passive-aggressive sighing every time we hit traffic. I sat in the passenger seat, his passenger seat, earbuds in, catching up on my favorite murder podcast like I hadn't orchestrated the whole thing. At the supplier's factory, Mark had to smile and shake hands while everyone kept asking why we hadn't just taken a company car. Plot twist. You need a special commercial license that takes a year to get, and neither of us had it. Every question was another twist of the knife. The ride back was even better. He gripped the wheel so hard I thought it would snap. At one point he muttered, "Must be nice having family drop in whenever you feel like it." I just smiled sweetly and said, "Yeah, family's important." The next morning I parked in my usual spot, grabbed myself a good coffee, the one Mark always takes a last without replacing, and walked in like nothing happened. Mark hasn't made a single hint about driving since. He now replies to my emails within minutes. And when a manager walks by, Mark suddenly finds reasons to look very busy. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even raise my voice. I just removed the one thing he was counting on, my willingness to be his doormat, and watched the house of cards collapse. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't loud. It's the quiet moment when they realize the person they underestimated was never powerless, just patient. In a world that keeps trying to make you smaller, the sweetest victory is refusing to shrink. I didn't need him humiliated forever, just enough to remember my name is not, "Hey, you." If this story made your chest feel a little lighter, drop a like, share it with that one coworker who needs to hear it, and tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest, most satisfying revenge you've ever pulled at work? I read every single one. Hit the bell so you never miss another story, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay savage, friends.